The rain wasn't gentle. It wasn't poetic or cinematic. It was brutal. Heavy droplets slammed onto the rusted tin roof of Landon Carter's garage, drowning out the faint country music playing from the busted speaker on the workbench. The day had already bled him dry. 2 jobs canceled. 1 customer screamed at him for a delay he couldn't help, and his fridge at home was practically echoing. Still, Landon stayed open past hours. Because that's what survivors do. They keep the doors open, even when they're losing more than they're gaining. And then she came in. Not with fanfare. No thunderous music or spotlight. Just the squelch of tires on wet gravel and a distant hiss as steam rose from under a hood. Landon looked up. Headlights sliced through the rain and lit up the downpour like a movie. A black SUV, sleek, expensive-looking, way out of place in his part of town, coasted to a halt at the garage's edge. The door opened. A woman stepped out, her heels instantly sinking into the muddy gravel. Camilla Hale, though he didn't know her name yet. Tall, blonde hair soaked and clinging to her face, dressed like she belonged in a New York penthouse, not on the outskirts of a dying rural town. She wasn't screaming, wasn't panicked, just stranded. "I've got a flat," she called over the rain, her voice steady, firm, almost too calm for someone drenched and clearly out of her element. Landon set his wrench down, wiped his oil-streaked hands on a rag, and stepped out under the awning. "You sure you want to drive that thing through here?" he asked, gesturing toward the SUV. "Town eats fancy cars for breakfast." Camilla gave a breathy, exhausted laugh. "Didn't exactly plan on breaking down here." Landon studied her. She wasn't whining, wasn't flashing money or demanding help. Just a woman stuck in the wrong place at the wrong time. "Pop the trunk," he said. "I'll get it fixed." "I don't have cash," she replied quickly. "Not on me." "I didn't ask." Landon shot back, already kneeling by the tire, flashlight between his teeth, the rain drenching his work shirt. "Some things ain't about money." There was a beat of silence, one that said she wasn't used to that answer. In the next 30 minutes, he had the spare on, tested the pressure, and checked her battery while he was at it. Not once did she interrupt. She just stood there, arms crossed, dripping wet, watching the way he worked, rough but skilled, determined, honest. When it was done, she offered a handshake. "Camilla," she said. "Landon," he replied, gripping her hand without hesitation. "I'll wire you something later." "I don't need anything," he said, drying his hands. "Just pay it forward." Camilla got into the SUV, but her eyes lingered on him, on the way he didn't look for a thank you, how he didn't even ask who she was. What Landon didn't know was, Camilla Hale wasn't just anyone. She was the Camilla Hale, CEO of Hale Global, the youngest woman on Forbes' Billionaire list, and known to everyone in the business world as the Ice Queen of New York. But to him, she was just a woman with a flat tire. That night, as Landon locked up, ate stale noodles, and fell asleep with a leaky roof dripping above him, he didn't know that something was already in motion. Something that would turn the small, forgotten garage on the edge of town into the epicenter of a story that would soon break the internet. And the next night, 5 limos would pull up to his garage. The next evening started like every other. Landon wiped oil from his face, cursed at a seized brake caliper, and kept an eye on the clock like it owed him something. It was nearing 8 p.m. He'd had 2 no-shows and a guy who paid him with crumpled singles and a fast food voucher. That was normal. What wasn't normal was what happened next. The roar of engines didn't sound like pickups or rusted-out Toyotas. It was smoother, more powerful. A low, rolling growl. Landon looked up. 5 black limousines, windows tinted darker than night, coasted down the gravel road like something out of a gangster movie. Their headlights flared against the foggy dusk. He dropped the wrench. The limos stopped in perfect formation outside his garage. Doors opened in unison. Men in black suits stepped out first. Real suits, not off the rack but custom-tailored high-end. They didn't look like gangsters. They looked like corporate security. And behind them, she stepped out. Camilla Hale. This time dry, polished, confident. No more soaked makeup or broken heels. She wore a gray coat over a white blouse and slacks, hair pulled back tight. Her presence made the air around her hum, like electricity. Landon squinted. What the hell is this? Camilla walked toward him without hesitation, heels clicking against the pavement. "You helped me yesterday," she said simply, stopping just outside the garage door. No charge. No attitude. You didn't know who I was. I still don't know what this is, Landon replied, unsure if he was being punked. She gestured to the man behind her. One step forward. Open a briefcase. 3 offers, she said. Option 1. You come work for me. I'll triple whatever you're making here, pay off your debts, and move you to the city. Full medical, housing, the works. Landon blinked. Option 2. You stay here. I invest $3 million into this garage. You hire a crew. Expand. New equipment, new clients. I put you on Hale Global supplier list. You'll never see an empty day again. He swallowed. His hands twitched slightly. And option 3. Camilla smiled, barely. You tell me to leave. I'll still wire you 25 grand for your kindness. No strings. It was so calm, so surreal. His shop, once forgotten, now had 5 limos outside and 3 life-altering decisions laid out before him like a game show. The town didn't even have Uber, let alone billionaires showing up in convoys. Landon looked around. His neighbor across the street, old man Doug, was standing on his porch with a coffee mug, jaw nearly unhinged. The gas station attendant was filming on his phone. What's the catch? Landon finally asked. No catch, Camilla said. You helped someone because it was the right thing to do. That kind of character is rare. I want to reward it. Landon stared down at his grease-covered boots, then up at the shining metal beasts parked like royalty at his door. He didn't speak for a while. The rain had started again, just a mist, soft enough to make the air smell clean. Option 2, he said. I'm not leaving my town. Camilla didn't blink. She turned to her team. Get it started. One of the suited men handed Landon a contract. Another shook his hand. The briefcase was left behind. And within minutes, they were gone, disappeared in the mist like it never happened. But it did. Because by morning, the entire town knew. By noon, news vans had shown up. And by sunset, the broke mechanic was no longer broke. But kindness doesn't just get you money. It gets you enemies. And Landon was about to find out. Not everyone in his town wanted to see him rise. The next few weeks felt like someone had hit fast forward on Landon's life. His old, oil-stained overalls were replaced by fresh coveralls with his name embroidered in clean white thread. State-of-the-art lifts, diagnostic computers, even climate-controlled work bays were installed in under 10 days. Camilla had sent engineers, marketers, and even a PR team. Suddenly, Carter's garage wasn't just a garage. It was becoming a brand. The town, once indifferent to Landon, now buzzed with speculation. At the local diner, whispers swirled around like smoke off coffee mugs. He's got mafia ties. Has to. No way a billionaire shows up for a tire. I heard he's sleeping with that woman. That's how he got it. My cousin said he sold the place to a corporation. They're just using his name. It didn't matter that he still drove the same dented truck or waved at every kid on the block. To them, kindness wasn't enough of a reason to be chosen. Not when envy turned every neighbor into a storyteller. But Landon kept working. That was his armor. Grease on his hands. Tools in his belt. The simple rhythm of fixing broken things. Until the slashed tires started showing up. First, his own truck. Then a customer's car. Next, someone broke into the office and left a single word spray-painted across the glass in red. Traitor. The sheriff, a man named Rick Garrison, came by the next morning. He was polite but distant. Town's changing, Landon. Not everyone likes what's happening. I'm not doing anything wrong, Landon said, arms crossed. Rick shrugged. Doesn't matter. You know how people are. They don't like seeing someone rise who started below them. And then there was Mara. Mara Collins, his ex, the girl who left him 2 years ago when he couldn't afford the down payment on a house. She showed up one sunny afternoon with a bottle of wine and a smile too sweet to be real. I always knew you'd make something of yourself, she purred, her hand brushing his arm. We should catch up. Landon almost laughed. You didn't return my calls when my mom died. Don't pretend now. Mara blinked, caught off guard, then recovered. Don't be bitter. I'm trying to be supportive. Go support someone else. She left, heels clacking angrily across the pavement, and Landon realized success didn't change people's hearts. It revealed them. But the worst part came later. One evening, while locking up, Landon heard it. The crunch of gravel, the slam of a door, and then a rock shattered through the office window. He ducked, glass raining down, heart pounding. Outside, He saw a shadow disappear behind the fence. Whoever it was, they were gone before he could even reach the alley. When he told Camilla's team, they offered to send private security. Landon refused. I won't live like I'm under siege in my own home. But that night, alone in his kitchen with the lights off, staring at the cracked glass on his floor, he felt it for the first time. Fear, not just for himself, but for the dream he was building. Because it turns out, the hardest part of being chosen isn't the reward. It's surviving what follows. It happened on a Thursday. The day had started like any other. The garage was humming. His new assistant, Raymond, was changing a transmission. The waiting room had 2 customers sipping coffee. A local reporter had just finished an interview titled From Grease to Gold, the man who fixed a tire and won a billionaire's favor. Landon had even laughed that morning. But by midnight, the laughter was gone. The fire started in the back bay. Someone had poured gasoline behind the storage shelves and lit a rag. No warning. No message. Just flames roaring to life like hell had finally arrived. Landon got the call from dispatch just after 12:14 a.m. When he pulled up, shirt half-buttoned, barefoot, the sight tore something from him. The garage, his father's old place, the one he bled into, was engulfed. Flames cracked the night. Firefighters shouted. Red lights flashed like sirens of war. By dawn, it was gone, reduced to ash. The press called it an accident. Faulty wiring. But Landon knew better. Because behind the fence, the same word was scrawled again, this time in charred spray paint. Traitor. The sheriff said there were no suspects. No leads. Just bad luck. But Landon wasn't stupid. He knew this was about pride. About someone in the town who couldn't stomach his rise. He had no proof. Just gut instinct and a long list of people who once called him a joke. He didn't cry. He didn't scream. He just stood in the ash with black soot smeared across his jaw and muttered, "You don't burn a man's hands and think he won't rebuild." And that was when Camilla came back. She arrived that same morning, stepping out of a black SUV in jeans and sneakers this time, her face softer than he'd ever seen it. "I heard," she said. Landon nodded. "It's done." "No, it's not." She walked closer, pulled something from her purse, a folder. "I didn't tell you this before," she said, voice low, "but I wasn't just passing through that night with the flat tire. I was on my way to investigate small-town investment prospects. Hale Global is shifting part of its energy division here. I was scouting, but I never expected to meet someone like you." He looked at her, stunned. "You mean?" "Yes," she said. "I didn't plan on that flat. But after you helped me, I changed the entire investment focus around your garage." Landon stepped back. "So, I was a project?" "No," she said sharply. "You were the reason I believed the project could work." He stayed silent, jaw clenched. "I should have told you. I just didn't want to ruin something good with corporate talk." Landon stared at the folder. "What's that?" "Blueprints. For a rebuild. Better. Stronger. A tech-forward auto center, still with your name on it. You don't have to accept it. But I won't let them win. Not the cowards who lit that fire. Not the ones who think kindness is weakness." For the first time in days, he felt something other than fury. Hope. And it was then he made a vow. Not for Camilla, not for the press, but for himself. For every grease-stained night. For every ignored favor. For the good man who helped a stranger and got fire in return. He'd rise again. But this time not quietly. 2 months passed. And every day, the world watched. Landon didn't rebuild in silence. He rebuilt in the spotlight. Camilla's media team rolled out the story like a redemption arc America couldn't stop talking about. From ashes to innovation. The mechanic who didn't burn down. The new shop rose faster than anyone expected. Massive steel beams. Solar panels. Clean white interiors. AI diagnostics. A front office that looked more like a Silicon Valley startup than a garage in a forgotten southern town. But Landon, he was still Landon. Still wore the same work boots. Still talked like a man who knew struggle. Still fixed cars by hand when he wanted to feel grounded. But something inside him had changed. Not bitterness. Not arrogance. Just strength. The kind that only comes from losing everything. Twice. And choosing to rise anyway. On opening day, the lot overflowed. Reporters. Locals. Even the sheriff. Some came to support. Others out of pure curiosity. The mayor gave a stiff speech. Local kids clapped. People who never said his name before now wanted autographs. And then Camilla stepped up. She didn't bring security this time. No fancy dress. Just jeans, a blazer, and a quiet smile. Standing at the podium beside him, she said into the microphone, "Landon Carter didn't just fix my tire. He fixed the part of this world that believes no one does good things for free." He reminded me, and reminded all of us, that character has value, and character deserves to win. The crowd applauded, but in the very back row, one man didn't clap. It was Derek Hayes, the same man who used to mock Landon at school, who spread the first rumors when the limos arrived, and whose cousin happened to work part-time in the fire department. Landon caught his eye. Derek stared back, face tight with resentment. But he didn't speak. He didn't need to. Landon just nodded once. Calm, in control, victorious without saying a word. Because this was his revenge. Not lawsuits, not fists, just standing tall while the people who doubted him drowned in their own silence. After the ceremony, Landon stepped into the office. Camilla followed. He turned to her. "You staying in town?" "I wasn't planning on it," she said, then added with a softer voice, "But I might. There's something about this place." He smiled faintly. "It's not the place. It's the people who fight to make it better." She took a long look at him. "You never asked me for anything." "I didn't help you for what you had," he replied. "I helped because it was the right thing." She hesitated, then leaned in, kissed him softly on the cheek, and whispered, "That's exactly why I keep coming back." Outside, the sun hit the white steel of the new garage, casting a golden glow across the lot. Inside, Landon sat at his desk, not behind it but beside it, still reachable, still real. But the world would never see him the same again. Because in a world that often rewarded cruelty and greed, one man proved that kindness, quiet strength, and unshakable character could still change everything. And sometimes, 5 limos really do pull up for the right person, even if he smells like motor oil and wears secondhand boots.